Alongside former Packer Brian Bulaga, here's Emmy Award winner Homer.
The best 60 minutes of your day, the Brian Bulaga Homer Hour. I was listening to what you said a couple minutes ago. In the draft, the Packers are going to get 3 starters? Mr. Future Packer Hall of Famer, in terms of this year's team, there will be no starters on this year's team drafted in this year's draft.
Whoa.
0.
You might have misquoted me there.
Oh, that happened. Aaron Rodgers did say I don't listen well. He didn't say many things. Okay, well, then clarify.
Okay.
Eventual starters, maybe.
The question was, how many starters do I think they need to hit on to, for this team because of the holes do they need to hit on? You know what I mean? To get this team to where they probably need to go in the postseason because there are holes throughout the roster. And I said, they probably will need the first round pick, the second round pick, and at some point that third round pick to be starters. I'm not saying that they're going to be, but that's what I was getting at. I'm not saying
but that's a pretty negative view of the team. Whatever. First of all, what level?
That's 3 guys out of 53. That's not a negative view.
No, 3 starters. Like I would say now that I've listened to what you actually said, I would say maybe 1 because I think you could have a cornerback, but I don't think that my first question again is to get where they want to get. What is that? Is that to get to the Super Bowl? Is that to win the division?
I would say, well, first, be better in the division than what they were. You can't be. Yeah, you can't have 1 win. You can't have 1 win.
No, I guarantee you that. Whatever you want to bet, they're going to have more than 1. And I think the team is good enough as it is, with no starting assistants from this draft, to do better than that. I think they can win the division without starting assistants. Now, there will be people that they draft that will play.
Yeah, I mean, I just think if the way Goody's building the roster, right, and the way he wants this thing to look, if you're going to go with youth, you're going to need youth to have a huge role. And that is the guys that you draft right off the get, because you're not having a huge gap in your experienced guys, say your year 3 guys to your rookies. There's just not that big of a gap of like veterans, right? I mean, you do have your veterans and Jacobs and Xavier McKinney and guys like that. Like you have that, but like we're talking like, look at the wide receiver room. Look at, for example, some of the DBs. Look at example for a few of the D linemen. Like they're young in a lot of different positions, at the linebacker position, for example. So you look at it, if you draft guys, in the first and second round, you're expecting them to compete and push those guys for those jobs.
I would agree with that. Like, I will take another draft with Cooper and Williams.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, if you get those quality of players, are you just going to let them sit? No.
Well, no, but was Cooper a starter by the end of the year? I guess he was.
Yeah, but he was injured early on, so he got hurt, so he wasn't really able to do much. You know what I mean? So he finally, when he got healthy, he was able to kind of show what he was about, and he earned the job. So, it's just. But those 2 guys on the back end, Williams and the other
Cooper,
the other DB. No, the other DB, Williams and
from last year's draft.
Yes.
Oh, Bullard.
Yes. Yeah, Bullard.
Yeah. I apologize to Bullard. Should have been Cooper, Bullard, and Williams.
Yeah, those 2 guys in the back end, studs, showed exactly what they were about. But like that's what they got last year with those 2 types, those players, starters.
How about if I say that Brian Bulaga says in the draft the Packers need to add players equal to what Cooper, Bullard, and Williams provided as rookies, and that's even without anything from the first-round pick, Morgan, which could benefit this year. But the play of Cooper, Bullard, and Williams, 2, 3, and second round, and fourth round, you would take that again from this year's draft.
Oh, absolutely. I would
All right.
definitely take that again.
Yeah.
I would certainly take, you get that production in the second and third round, like what those guys did. I mean, that's crazy. That's fantastic production. And people could say what they want about, Goody and what he does in the first round. But when you draft in the second and third round and you get that type of production out of guys, I mean, that's scouting. That's fantastic. That's
Yes.
not, you know what I mean? That's fantastic work by the guys upstairs. The first round, as you know this, I know this. The first round at times, man, it's a crapshoot. Like it really is, and a lot of people hang their hat on it, and they judge GMs by it, and rightly so, right? I mean, hey,
no, not rightly so. I think that judging for Ron Wolf the same. No, you judge a GM on the team he puts together through the draft, through free agency, and all the different ways. Now, you can say he made a bad first-round pick, fine, but this is a good example.
I guess I was going to say, you're right. You're right. I guess I'm saying more so like, okay, we'll say the guy like right now at the Cleveland Browns. I'll
say,
right?
for
like
example, with you, people assume that where you were drafted, you should be good. So you don't get, you do it for me because I don't care where someone is drafted. I judge them on the talent as far as how good they are. But as far as a general manager, they're not going to, no one's going to get an A+ because of how good you were given where you were drafted from a draft selection. It was a good selection, but.
Yeah, Ted, at the same time, he was such a, people probably didn't like it at the time because it was a boring pick. It was such a boring pick at the time.
I don't care what those people think.
I know, but like at the time, it was just like, oh, we drafted a lineman, but they so forget that they lost the playoff game the year before because Aaron got pressured and the ball knocked out of his hands, and the year prior he got sacked a bunch of times, and they, Tauscher was brought back as well. There was a lot of stuff going on prior to that. But it was a boring pick. You know what I mean? And it is what it is.
I'm never going to let you say it was a boring pick because a player of that caliber, where you were drafted, the 23rd pick, is only a good selection. That's all. Now, if you were a punter, I would maybe question whether you would do that. But no, come on. Your 23rd pick, I'll look through the Packer Hall of Fame because you won't want to say it. You're going to be in the Packer Hall of Fame. Now, for the 23rd pick, I'm sure when Michaels was picked by the Packers, right around that, maybe he was 25 or 26. That was a bad first-round pick. But anyway, back to what you're saying. I, for example, this is why I have never mentioned and never used as a topic ever the Packers and the question about first-round wide receivers. Because who cares? Look at their selection of wide receivers. What difference does it make if it's in the first or second round? They've done incredibly well drafting wide receivers, and many of them would have been great picks in the first round.
Yes.
So the key is, have the Packers done great drafting wide receivers? Yes, other than Goody a few years ago. And this question, what about first-round picks? I don't know and I don't care.
Yeah, I'm with you. Listen, you look at Green Bay, right, not drafting first-round wide receivers. How many of those wide receivers that I played with, and who knows, down the line, that are Packer Hall of Famers for sure? Jordy Nelson's already won. Donald Driver's already won. James Jones will probably be one. Greg Jennings has already won. And obviously Devontae Adams will be one. Cobb will probably be one. Like, we're going down the list here, pretty much all of them, right? Like, you're going down the list and checking the boxes of all these guys, right? And none of them were first-round picks. Driver was a 7th-round pick. James Jones, I forgot what James Jones was, but like these guys
believe he was 3rd, but I'm going to check. Yeah.
So who says you need to be a first-round wide receiver? Because then people directly point at Jefferson and Chase and those guys. But, listen, Devontae was pretty damn good. And so was Jordy. Those dudes are pretty good.
No, they have done an amazingly good job at drafting wide receivers. How about the rounds? Don't care.
Yeah.
It makes the pick look even better when you pick a player in the 2nd or 3rd round that was that good. Greg Jennings, second round. Yeah, no, it's incredible. James Jones, third round. Jordy Nelson, second round. My answer would be, hey, pick them in the second round, which that is stupid, but you pick them whenever you see them. But Randall Cobb, second round.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it goes on and on. Yeah, you mentioned Donald Driver, and I always loved Ron Wolf's line. And they think I'm so good. If I was that good, I would have picked him in the second round, not the seventh round. Devontae Adams, second round. No, it's just incredible. And that's what people should know. The Packers have done an amazing job drafting wide receivers. And
people can say what they want. Alan Lazard was a good wide receiver for the team. He was a solid wide receiver for the team for 4 years. Like, he played the position well. He did a good job. He earned a big contract. Like, it's not like he was out there doing nothing. Like, he did a good job for what Matt LaFleur asked him to do, and he earned a big deal. So, like, these are all guys that, came in. They were brought in by scouting and staff, and they did a good job, and it shows that they know what they're doing at the position. But like we said, not every pick hits, and not every pick needs to be a first-round guy to pan out like Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. It just doesn't have to be that way.
No, I'm starting to think that I may be more on Goody's side than everybody else. Like, I mean, if they just get the normal addition from the draft, as Goody has gotten the last couple drafts, I think they can win the division. I'm not betting a whole lot on it, but I think it's good. The Bears are clearly better. The Vikings I expect to be a little bit worse, or right in there, and the Lions. So the Packers should be, I am expecting them with nothing crazy happening, right in the middle of the fight. I'll be disappointed if they don't win the division, if they're not, I don't know, within 2 games, or I expect it to go down to the end of the season. But maybe I'll find out if I'm wrong. I might be being too optimistic.
I don't see it. I mean, again, maybe I'm being too optimistic, but I don't see it being another 1 and 4, whatever, 1 and 5, type, or whatever it was. I don't see it being
1 and 5. No,
I don't see it being that.
I'll bet they'll win at least 3 division games. Anybody wants to bet, you go to Ted's and give the money to Kevin. I'll bet whatever you want that they'll win at least 3 division games.
Oh, yeah. I would take that. I would take that bet. For sure.
I just think they're a player. And again, how much some of the players step up. And, I mean, the legitimate concern would be at cornerback in terms of the quality and depth that they have, because I still don't think that Jair's coming back. But I'm just listening to everything like, what's going to happen? Everybody else is doing so much better. Well, that's just part of it. I expect the team to be better, and I think part of it is I expect Jordan Love to be better because I think he was hurt, and he still had decent numbers. By the way, if you believe in quarterback rating, QBR, he was the 5th best quarterback in the league last year, which probably proves why you don't want to believe that thing, but I don't know if there's anybody, even his family, that thinks he was in the top 5 quarterbacks last season, but so be it.
Yeah, I just don't see them being like, well, we said it last week, like, I think they're one of the best 7 teams in the NFC, which means they're a player in their
right, and we want them to be like 3 or 4 instead of 6 or 7. Yes. And I think that's possible. Yes. As I said, I won't bet that much, so I can't say that I'm that optimistic, but
it's possible. To me, it's possible.
Yeah, and I'll be disappointed if they don't finish first or second. I'm wondering how much I'll bet if they don't finish first or second in the division. I think they should be first or second. Maybe I figure it'll be more likely second, but the Vikings can't be as good with a rookie quarterback, and the Lions are missing both coordinators. Now they clearly have talent, and that's the most important thing. But
yes, I mean, we have no idea about the rookie, or now second-year player, but his first year starting at Minnesota. We have no idea.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, we have no idea about him. We saw him at Michigan, obviously. Different ball game, right? Like, completely different game. We know he was polished at Michigan.
I do not think he's going to be special. I think he might be good. He benefited from one very important drive. They ran the ball the whole damn season. He didn't do much, but with the season on the line, he went down the field and scored against Alabama. Won him the championship, and he deserves the credit, and that makes you think maybe he can be special. But I don't know that anybody who watched that team as good as they ran the ball. And, in fact, you know what we'll do here before we break? We'll get a final word from our Michigan expert. Nobody follows Michigan football more than Pebble. Pebble, am I underrating the performance of J.J. McCarthy in that season?
I think you're underrating him slightly because of the moxie he has and his ability to on third downs. He made a lot of big plays the entire season on third down when they needed it. And when they didn't have that kind of quarterback play in previous years, when they also ran the ball with success. And they also used his legs a lot, too, to run the ball.
I'll give him more moxie. I apologize, JJ. You got more moxie, but I don't know if you have college moxie or the pros moxie. And Brian Bulaga will explain there is a difference, right?
Yeah, I got a question. But didn't he have another knee surgery? Didn't he get another one done?
I believe he did, yeah.
Okay, so how much moxie is he going to have on two knee operations within a year?
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. I mean, I didn't think he should have came out to begin with. I think he could have came back for his senior. I couldn't think he could have probably been the number one overall pick if he would have came back for his senior year, probably.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the only thing that always concerns me about when a guy has a scope and he's rehabbing it, and now here we go, getting ready to start this offseason program, and it doesn't feel good. We got to go back in and scope it again before the offseason program even begins. I don't like it.
Well, I want an explanation for that from Dr. Bulaga. We'll do that next in the second quarter.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
Very minimal slowdowns this afternoon. Still just looking at that one section on 43 North between Walnut and Keith, and 94 West just heading into the stadium interchange. We do have a crash on the exit to Lincoln Avenue from 41-894 South, but it looks like that has been pulled over to the shoulder. Traffic is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. Tonight, mostly clear skies, a low of 29. Tuesday, partly sunny, a high of 45. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Jessica Gatso on 94.5 ESPN.
The best source for every piece of NFL news you need to know.
That's the idea of a deal. Each side gets wins, right? They have Jordan Love under contract for the next 5 years.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter is on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Wednesday morning at 7:30. Sponsored by Island Resort and Casino.
I think Packers fans would sign up for 12-5 today, and maybe they will be.
Right here on 94.5 ESPN, and also streaming live on the Wisconsin On Demand app and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor. If it's a celebrate or tailgate when you're gonna recreate upstate. If it's a holiday, birthday, any date, you can save at Discount Liquor.
Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. The home opener at AmFam Field is almost here, and we want to help you stock up for your tailgate party. Whether you need beer by the barrel or case, including a huge selection of craft brews, or your favorite bottle of liquor or wine, we have everything you need at the lowest prices in town. And you'll save a lot of money here at Discount Liquor. Visit us at 51st and Oklahoma in Milwaukee and on Barstow and Maine in downtown Waukesha. Or go to discountliquorinc.com. Voted best liquor store in Milwaukee again.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings.
Check out all of our weekly specials at discountliquorinc.com.
Discount Liquor.
Progressive knows you've got enough to worry about in life.
Hi, it's your life again. Feel like another year is just slipping away? Yeah, remember all those New Year's resolutions you made? You still haven't finished the first book. Just 19 more to go. I mean, if we're being honest, it wasn't a very realistic goal. Have you ever considered that you intentionally self-sabotage? So what's that about?
So let Progressive protect your home and auto, because you've got enough to worry about. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
It's spring, which means it's the best time to shop for all the new looks you love at Macy's. Like bold floral midi dresses, light and airy linen suits for any occasion, Updates like must-have denim handbags that bring the whole look together, and so much more. So come into Macy's today and find a few of your favorites for spring, or maybe even more than a few.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that American Family Insurance agents can help build a customized renter's policy so you can protect stuff like this, or this, or even this. Well, case in point. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Gruber Law Offices, Thanasis Live is back March 29th at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Join Thanasis for a live show that's going to entertain fans like none other. Last year, he surprised his brother, Giannis, with a surprise appearance from ESPN Stephen A. Smith, so you never know what Thanasis is planned for 2025. March 29th at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Thanasis Live with your tickets. Gruber Law Offices, Thanasis Live right now. Visit TALiveshow.com for event and ticket info, excitement, and entertainment you can't get anywhere else. It's too bad he's not on the team. I don't even care if he has a busted Achilles, or he should be on the bench. One of the great cheerleaders ever. All right, talking with Brian Bulaga, going to go to YouTube. And I want to thank Joseph because he said, Homer, get your numbers right. All right, Edgerrin Cooper, second round, pick 45. Javon Bullard, second round pick number 58. And Evan Williams, a fourth round pick number 111. So of the ones we mentioned, there was no third round pick. That was Marshawn Lloyd, the running back that we're still worried about because he's hurt all the time. All right, Brian Bulaga.
Yep.
By the way, RJ, off-season, so bad, we finished fourth in the division. You know what I said to RJ? RJ, whatever you want to bet, I will give you 2-1 odds that the Packers do not finish last in the division. So we might have to take some money over to Ted's and Tosa. Zero. I mean, yeah. I don't. They told me I can't say 0% chance, but it's what I think. 1% chance to finish last.
You know, to his, I understand he's upset, and I besides wanting, Devontae or a wideout, what I guess, and this isn't like me being, like negative, but like, what did say RJ? What did people want?
They wanted him to pick up a player that you'd heard of. Somebody big, somebody to tell you we got problems. We gotta get a big time receiver or a big time well-known cornerback or a big time well-known defensive lineman. Take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, well, still, listen, I'm still not. I'm not sold on the Hendrickson thing yet. Now the guy's saying he's not showing up. There's reports that he said he's not even going to play for the Bengals this year if he doesn't get paid. So that's still floating out there, right? And Green Bay hasn't said that they're completely out of that race. They're not even entertaining it. So that's not completely off the table yet, right? So there's still hope there potentially, right? So I'm not done there, but we got to look at some of the numbers given out here, right? Like let's be real with all this. Some of the receiver numbers, some of the D-line numbers, Green Bay was never going to go near those. And fans know that. I know that. You know that. Everyone knows that. It's just not the way they do it. What they did do, they did address the corner position or the slot position, so to speak, the secondary. And they did address a position at the guard position, which a guy that we're going to find out what he's about. I mean, he's played well at times at San Francisco. We'll see how he does, moving into the NFC North.
Is it fair to say he's probably a better run blocker than pass blocker, or am I off there?
No, I think he's a good run blocker. I mean, that's been San Francisco's strong suit since McCaffrey's gotten there. They've been a better running team than they have been passing. I mean, when Garoppolo was there, they threw the ball better. That's just they have. I mean, I'm not. That's not a knock on Purdy or anything. But when you get McCaffrey, you're gonna run the ball more than not. And he was the guy's a good run blocker. So that doesn't mean he can't pass block. It just means that he was asked to do something different in San Francisco. Now the schemes are very similar, so the transition for him will be very easy. I'm not saying easy, but the lingo, all the verbiage, the playbook, there'll be a lot of similarities for him. So he'll hit the ground running, which is very good for an offensive lineman. It'll be very good for him to hear what the center says. He'll recognize it. It'll be coming into an O-line room, and you hear the same things that you heard where you were just at for 4 years. I mean, that's got to be amazing. So he'll be okay. And we'll see how he does. But they address needs that I think were needed. Obviously, everyone thought secondary, and the offensive line. We talked about it just because of what happened with Elton in that Eagles game. They addressed a position that was glaring in that playoff game, and they addressed it. So whether or not it was a huge name guy or not, they addressed an issue, and we got to trust that the guys that they picked up are going to do a job.
I'm with you there. I think this is going to be addressed all through before the start of the season. The belief or thought of the running game being a bigger part of the offense, or was this done because they want to focus more on running first, or how are you going to answer when people go into that area that they couldn't figure it out real well at the end of last year, but they're going to focus on maybe running the ball more than people think occurs with LaFleur, and you can go in that in any direction. This is, to me, kind of the start of a conversation I think we're going to have for a long time, even into the season. But I'm not sure that I'm right. But
no, so listen, the thing about this whole conversation is that this offense, this scheme, at the heart of this, it is a running offense. That is what this is, from the origins of it with Shanahan, the original Shanahan in Denver. This is a running offense. That is what this thing was, with the great running backs of the Denver Broncos and Terrell Davis and all those. Like, this is what this was. And when you have good backs like Green Bay does now, and like what San Francisco did, and when Washington, when he was there with, Clinton Portis and those, like, they ran the football. And that's what you do when you have good backs. So LaFleur is going to continue to run the football. What I hope that he does, which I think he will, because I think he saw kind of how it impacted the offense a little bit in a way that he's not used to it doing, because it works so well with Aaron, was the play action game. I hope that the play action game comes back alive because of how well they've been able to run the football. The play action game should be phenomenal, and they just weren't able to get that synced up with the new style of run scheme.
All right, let you finish. That's not that hard. Tell me where I'm wrong, but that's like saying they need to bring their helmets. Isn't that like the most basic, easiest thing?
Well, the thing about it is, there is a play action for duo that Jacobs loves running, but play action off duo isn't a great play action.
All right,
but in the heart of it, like, it's just not a good play action. Like, it's a very simple thing for defenses to read. It's a great run. Don't get me wrong. It's a fantastic run because it makes linebackers sit back and read. They have to guess. But when you do that in a play action, the linebackers are already sitting back and reading. So those wide receivers and tight ends that are running over the middle, the linebackers see it and they're able to read pass.
So is the biggest stat this year going to be percentage of offensive plays where Jordan Love is under center versus the percentage last year? Should that be higher and like 20% higher? It's too early to one of the numbers. They'll have to look them up. But
yeah, I want to see him under center a bit more this year.
All right,
a bit under center more this year. I think that's where the play action game comes alive for him a lot more. And also just their bread and butter wide zone game that this offense is fundamentally built on. I'm not saying that Jacobs needs to do it all the time, because his bread and butter is the duo game. It's the downhill type read and react type run game, and he sets up his linemen really well, and he gets linebackers to jump into gaps, and he jump cuts around it, and you don't want to take that away from him. But you can set so many things up with the wide zone scheme that we're so used to seeing those first 4 years when Aaron was at quarterback with Aaron Jones in the backfield, and how dynamic the play action was. If you get Josh Jacobs running that outside zone, and he starts, pressing the outside and cut back and running downhill at safeties and linebackers, starts trucking guys. And then you start getting full flow defenses that way, and Jordan Love starts pulling the ball and gets easy shots over the middle, the tight ends and wide receivers. Now you're just opening up a different can of worms for defenses that we didn't see last year. And now you got a really dynamic, 1-2 punch with a play action and a running back that can do two things. He can run the outside zone, and now he can run downhill, and it keeps linebackers and defenses and D-lines guessing of how they want to play, because D-linemen, when you know you're going against a zone team or a downhill, duo team, D linemen are going to play heavy on their hands. Like, they know that it's going to be, duo right at you. They're going to play heavy in their stance. They're not trying to get reached. So they're just going to come and squat and play heavy at you. When they're getting reached, they're flying laterally off the ball. They do not want to give up a gap. So it's a completely different way. And if you're able to do both of those throughout a game successfully, it throws off the defense, and you're able to do a lot of different things against them. So that's what I'm hoping we see. And I don't want Jacobs to change who he is as a back, because he's so good and he's so fun to watch. It's so different than what we've seen in Green Bay from my time there. Who he reminds me of, and obviously, I only got to play with him for a little bit, was Cedric Benson. I had him from that 1 year. Then he had the Liz Frank injury. He only got to play 5 or 6 games. But Cedric Benson was a type of back like him. Powerful back, loved the duo scheme, jump cut in and out of holes. But he had that Liz Frank injury, and it just, you barely got to see him play. It was unfortunate. But Jacobs is just so dynamic. You don't want to take away his best strengths, but man, if you can get him to do a little bit of what the offense is so used to seeing, jeez, look out.
I do want to mention that we're going to have to go through this, your last comments, and translate to the junior high level. Some things that are obvious to you are a little more complicated than and they are to us. So, but we don't necessarily have to do that now.
We can go. Yeah, we can go through it whenever. I'm sorry.
You don't. You don't have to be sorry. That's on us. Just in terms of, and then it's going to be what we watch and go, yeah, this is what Bulaga said. There are certain plays that we can watch, and then we'll see. But that's not a complaint. It's more like an observation. And I'm saying that I should know this stuff more than I do, but in terms of when you talk about how the plays will look different. And you are, I believe, the only person who's ever mentioned Benson in the history of a discussion of running backs.
Well, I'll tell you, when he got to Green Bay, man, it was a different type of back.
Yeah, no,
he just was.
He just didn't do it enough. But I'm glad you brought it up, because I've said this before. Players, observe and see things, right? It didn't take you long to figure out there's something. I don't know if the word is special, but there's something special about the way he runs the ball, or I wouldn't want to tackle him. I don't know what crosses your mind, because he was different.
Yeah, he was a completely different style of back that we had up to that point in my career in Green Bay. He ran with and obviously I had my first year. We had injuries, obviously, at the back position. Ryan Grant was a very angry runner. Ryan Grant ran extremely angry. He was a guy that I would not want to see in the hole.
All right, we're going to take a break, because when we come back, I'm going to ask you to do one. You're going to explain to the junior high football class, of which I'm a member, what it means by an angry runner, because I assume every runner better be angry, or they're going to beat the crap out of you. It's time to get those tailgate grills out and grab your groceries. Opening day in Milwaukee is almost here next Monday. The unofficial start to summer happens when the Brewers' home opener and ESPN Wisconsin will be all over it. Sponsored by Carbless, ready-to-drink cocktails, live shows from inside the ballpark, special guests all day, and an unmatched excitement for the crew as ESPN Wisconsin will carry every pitch of the home opener. Opening day on ESPN Wisconsin, sponsored by Carbless. Grab a pack today and be the MVP of your tailgate. Baseball season is coming. Angry Runners with Brian Bulaga next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
It's a mostly traffic-free commute this afternoon. One place you'll want to plan for just a couple extra minutes is 43 northbound. That's between Walnut and Keefe. Tonight, mostly clear skies, a low of 29. Tuesday, sunshine and clouds, a high of 45. Weather is brought to you by Avondale Roofing. Raise the roof and your standards with Avondale Roofing, your trusted partner for over 30 years. Remember, they get on top so you don't have to. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Jessica Gatso on 94.5 ESPN.
So many of our youth carry unimaginable burdens. Anger, depression, even thoughts of suicide. At Rawhide Youth Services, we recognize their pain. We help them find hope and healing. For those that need a second chance at life, we refuse to give up on them. Please be a part of our life-saving work. When you donate your used vehicle to Rawhide, you're helping change the lives of countless youth in our communities. Go to rawhide.org/donate and help them realize a brighter future today.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
It's ESPN Milwaukee's Kyle Walsh for Universal Windows Direct. The tax time sale is going on now, and they'll make your wallet even happier by paying no interest until 2030. Schedule your free in-home estimate today.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
At the Knickerbocker Hotel, we believe your stay should be as convenient and luxurious as possible. Whether you're planning a small meeting or a special event, our versatile space is perfect for any occasion. Start your day with a delicious meal at the Knick Restaurant and Bar, or unwind at the Knick Salon and Spa. Wanting to stay active? Their 24-hour fitness center is always available. If you need something custom-made or alterations made, there's a tailor on site. The Knickerbocker, where every detail is designed with your comfort in mind. For more information and to book your next stay, visit knickerbockerontheLake.com.
At Gruber Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Brad Norman here with some great news from my friends at Bank 5-9. For a limited time, you can earn as much as 4.8% on one of their CD specials. With 9, 17, and 25-month options, you're sure to find a CD that fits your needs while you earn a great return. It's simply another way Bank 5-9 is making lives better in our communities. Hurry! These high rates won't last long. Check out bank59.com/CD for more details. Member FDIC.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
We'll get to Angry Runner. Fisco Auto Body, it's a family business. Owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. That's why they're so good. Yes, the family's still doing it, generation after generation, and you can imagine how early they start doing it. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. And again, that's why expert workmanship guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. You ask them, at what age did you start doing this? I'll bet it's single digit. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Fisco to remember the name. The Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer Brian Bulaga. Angry runner about Ryan Grant. All right. Explain the range of runners that you have all worked with in Green Bay, even with Iowa, and where this all fits.
Yeah, so like the first, I would say, like true angry runner that I had that I got to experience was Sean Green at Iowa. He won the Doak Walker Award my sophomore year. He was obviously a phenomenal back. Got drafted by the Jets, played in the NFL. The guy went looking for contact. Like, I mean, he would get through the line of scrimmage.
Wait a minute. I don't think that's smart. I think you want to avoid contact. So explain where I'm wrong.
So essentially when Sean Green, and this is my point is going to get to when I get to Ryan Grant as well. When he would get through the line of scrimmage and, you know, he'd get through and he would get up to the linebackers or safeties, he wouldn't go towards the sideline. He would go at the linebacker. He would try to take the path straight ahead and lower his shoulder and run someone over, because he knew by the third quarter that linebacker would not want to keep doing that. And he didn't. And he knew, and the linebackers would not want to keep doing that by the third quarter. They would eventually start diving at his ankles, and he just would jump over him or stiff arm him or spin off him, and it would work.
And you actually saw that?
Oh, yeah. If you watch Sean Green run, that my sophomore year, unfortunately, Wisconsin fans got a really good taste of that in Iowa City. I think he ran for like 250 and 3 touchdowns when we played him in Iowa City my sophomore year.
Excuse me, please. Don't laugh too hard. Just you can laugh a little, but
I had to, because I did not expect that performance against Wisconsin, and it was wild.
All right, so to interrupt again, in practice, had you ever played with such a runner in high school, or do you remember the first time you noticed this guy's, I don't know if the word is different, or I think I could block for this guy a lot?
I mean, the first time for me, when because Sean was at a community college my first year. So, like, I didn't know anything about him. So when he showed up to training camp, you saw him and obviously built like an ideal running back. And the first time I was, a running back's different is during the first 9-on-7 drill. He goes through the hole and he hits Pat Anger, our starting middle linebacker. And the collision was just the loudest thing you could imagine. Like, it was just a absolute eruption. And you see Sean coming back to the huddle laughing and smiling. And you're like, what is the matter with this guy? Like, what is going on?
Because he knows the teams you play are going to suffer, right?
Yes, exactly. He knows exactly what's about. Like, he's going to do this to linebackers all year. And our defense was good. Obviously, Pat Anger was a good linebacker, but he's going to be doing this to Northwestern and Purdue and teams like that. He's just going to punish guys, and that's how it turned out. And you just knew something was different about him. And then the games go on, and you see his style of running and how he plays, and it was just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it brings me then to Green Bay, my rookie year, and I remember, I finally get my first opportunity, to start, and we're through that, we're not even to start, probably jog through that week. And, I'm just going, we're sitting, talking through B blocks and we're walking through and jogging through, and all of a sudden, we're just jogging through blocks, and all of a sudden Ryan Grant comes just flying through the hole and just drills my elbow. Just absolutely hammers it. Hyperextends it. I'm just like, what was, and he just like looks at me. He's like, full speed, let's go. And I'm just like, full speed. It's a jog. Listen, man, I'm just trying to make sure I understand what I'm about to do on Sunday. Like, you're going full speed. Yeah. He's flying through a hole and just is like and Sitton looks at me and goes, yeah, make sure you protect your elbows. RG's going to go flying through the hole. I'm like, in a walkthrough? He's like, oh, yeah, just make sure you're ready. And that's what RG did too, man. He went through in games, he would fly through the line of scrimmage, and he would not try to avoid guys. He would try to, obviously, if you could juke a guy, he would juke a guy, but like, he's not trying to go around linebackers and lose yards to try to gain yards. He was going north and south.
Now, I don't know if this applies, but Tony Smith has tried to teach me the same in basketball. When you go to the basket and there's somebody there, you don't avoid contact, you go into them, because then you know exactly where they are and you have a confidence that you can handle it. Is that in any way accurate to these running backs? Then I know where that person is. I'm not going to be surprised by anything, and I'm pretty comfortable that I can handle the situation. Any accuracy to that analogy?
It could be, because the last thing backs want to do is get popped on the side by surprise, right? Like, they don't want to get hit unexpectedly, and that's how they lose the ball. So, like, they know for a fact once they make contact, right? Like, if they make that first initial contact with a linebacker, their senses are heightened, and nothing, if they get pinged again, that's not going to bother them. It's when they try to start veering away and they can get pinged a different way that they're not expecting is when things can happen. So those aggressive, angry runners like the Ryan Grants, like Josh Jacobs, like those guys, they seek that out. Like, that's what they want. They go looking to punish guys because they know by the end of the game it pays dividends. Because those DBs, those safeties, even some line, they don't want any part of that towards the end of a game. And it just wears defenses down. It just wears them down, because the backs look at it too. Because they're so used to it. Their bodies are so just used to it.
So then backs get upset if they don't get enough carries because they know a certain number is necessary to wear those defensive players down, correct?
Yeah, I think there's certain styles of backs, yeah. They understand what they need for their style to be effective. And like, I think a perfect example of that is because of just of how he is built is Derrick Henry. Like, Derrick Henry is the perfect example of that type of back that if you run Derrick Henry 12 times, I mean, he's not going to be as effective. You run Derrick Henry 25 times, by the fourth quarter, guys are gun shy in the hole.
Is he a Hall of Fame angry runner?
I mean, thankfully, I've never had to be on the field against him, but I would imagine seeing him in a hole is probably not like the ideal situation. Now, I've never talked to like D linemen or not even D linemen, probably not as much, but linebackers or safeties. I saw Ryan Clark on his show. He said that he would have no problem to Derrick Henry, said he'd have no problem tackling him in the hole. All the other guys seem to not believe him on that, but I haven't talked to any guys
was his
recently.
point that it's after he got a little speed going that would make it impossible, or are those two different things?
No, he just said that. He said 99% of the time he would have Derrick Henry on the ground in the hole. I listened to the podcast.
All right. We need to hear from Derrick Henry.
Yeah, he told Derrick Henry right to his face he'd have him on the ground 99% of the time, and Derrick Henry didn't really seem to believe it. So it's just, but it was an interesting conversation. But I haven't talked to any guys recently. Like how do you handle that? Like, obviously, anyone can tackle anyone, but like, how many times do you want that situation throughout a game? And the honest answer is not many. Like, you don't want to see Henry, you don't want to see Jacobs, you don't want to see those types of backs one-on-one in the hole that many times throughout a game. It's just not the type of back that you want to see, because they're looking to punish you. And as linemen, I mean, personally, those are the backs that I love.
Which you had to love, because like when you're ahead of games, you get to do that more often in Green Bay, right? Because that's when. Go ahead.
You get to push them. You get to push from behind as they start running linebackers over, and then you start to get to push them from behind as they get stood up, and the momentum gets going, and the crowd gets behind it. The crowd loves it. It starts to fire everyone up. The back starts getting excited. Like, the energy just builds because the defense feels it. They know that the back's getting juiced up and he's looking for contact. He is looking to run into you. Like, he is not going around you. He's not going to try to fake you out. He's going through you. And that's what Green Bay has right now. Like, you watch Jacobs run. I love watching him run in the fourth quarter. He's looking for it, and it's fun to watch. It's really
I
fun
should
to
tell
watch.
you, this guy I met who faced, I mentioned Jim Bertelsen, who was in the NFL in high school, and he claimed after the first quarter, his teammates were all acting like they were going to try to body block him because they didn't want to try to tackle him because it hurt so much. So I don't think that happens, but you can imagine what those guys must have been like in high school. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits, top-notch service, and so much more. Now I say, appropriately, they've been doing it well for over 50 years. That's how the confusing insurance decisions aren't that tough for them as they help you, because they've been doing it well for so long. And I add the fourth part, small enough to handle your needs with special attention and large enough to have the clout to make it happen. You'll know, and people say, the Saganiac Plan's got to be big enough so that when they deal with these companies, they have enough clients to have some power over what they are dealing with. But you don't want to be too big because they want to be small enough to handle your needs with special attention. Saganiac Planning, 783. Remember that, 783-262-783. Roger Maris, 6161. Fourth quarter, next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
Can almost hear the grills coming out of hibernation.
Time to take off those covers, make those grocery lists, and oil that mitt. Opening day on ESPN Milwaukee is right around the corner. Sponsored by Carbliss, ready-to-drink cocktails. Tune in all day long on March 31st for Jen, Gabe, and Chewy live from the warning track at AmFam Field, and even catch the Brewers game right here on 94.5 ESPN starting at 1:10. It's opening day on ESPN Milwaukee, sponsored by Carbliss.
The wait is over. Brewers baseball is back. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Be here for opening day. Come back for the big games and the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's opening day and every game, all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticket finder.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Freddie Coleman.
I know. The NCAA tournament does not want the little guys around. I know. NIL, transfer portal, ego, greed, all of the above, leading to everybody saying the little guys make the NCAA tournament. You're not wrong, especially when it comes to the first weekend. But by the second weekend, you don't want too many of those interlopers around. Not saying that we're the problem. No. Upsets make the NCAA tournament the best sporting event around, especially any time of year with all the intrigue and all the possible upsets that could happen. But before we blame NIL and transfer portal keeping the little guys out, let's remember the big guys didn't want the little guys around in the first place. And they usually get their wish by the second weekend. And you know what? So do you. Little guys are good to a point. Don't put that all in NIL and the transfer portal. In 60 seconds, rest in peace, Big George.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Boys, if you're seeing this, the unthinkable has happened.
Baba's dead? This is how your father's business works. The life of crime and the life of this deli.
You were born into this.
Dad was a murderer.
We could go to jail. We're innocent.
We'd be the first innocent brown people in jail. Oh my God. There's a gun in the credenza. Finish him off now.
What?
What part of this are you not understanding?
Credenza, if I'm being honest, I don't think I know what that is.
Deli Boys. All episodes are now streaming on Hulu.
When I found out about the death of former heavyweight champion and boxing Hall of Famer and ultimate pitchman, when it came to George Foreman, the first thing I said to myself was, that dude lived his life for 76 years. It's easy to say, well, Freddie, everybody lives their life. Not the way, according to George Foreman. Think about what he went through, being the biggest, baddest dude in the heavyweight division. We remember when he beat Joe Frazier and the late Howard Cosell going, down goes Frazier, down goes Frazier. And nobody thought Muhammad Ali had a chance of beating him. But he did with the rope-a-dope and the Thriller in Manila. George Foreman was able to overcome that and himself, and not only win the heavyweight championship again, but be the ultimate pitchman, which we never saw coming. We never thought that the big bad George Foreman would turn into lovable George Foreman as he was able to get out of boxing and then get back into boxing and be that. Rest in peace, Mr. George Foreman. You are going to be sorely missed. For the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Freddie Coleman of ESPN Radio's Freddie and Harry.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
The Brian Bulaga Homer Hour. Hard to believe we're down to 2 minutes. And we go to YouTube. People following us like to look at us, I guess. What position do you want the Packers to address in the first round of the draft? Brian Bulaga, I know you've been asked before. Cornerback, defensive lineman, whichever one they have rated the highest. I don't know.
Yeah, to me, it's whoever's there rated the highest out of those two is where I'm going.
I don't know about, we haven't addressed, but the defensive line, how good they are, how good they should be. We will certainly have time to do that.
I think year two in this defense, we saw glimpses of it towards the end of last year, right? I think the defensive line started playing better ball towards the end of last year. So I'm hoping, year two to start this thing out, we're going to see more of that trend starting off the year. Now, that's a hope because as I've said it, I'm going to continue to say it, the front four of this defense makes everything tick in behind it. So these guys, I think there's plenty of talent. I think they're good players. They just need to, I hope they had this year to get comfortable. Now it's time to go, and they got the guys to do it. So I think they're going to play better.
And now my question, we have a minute left. How much better can a player like Cooper make the defensive line look? You've dealt with it how does it affect the offensive line, or does it, when they're linebackers that are so good or tough to deal with?
Yeah, well, when you got good linebackers, it makes on double teams, it makes the guard or the tackle leave the D lineman quicker, which then benefits the D lineman because he's not getting double teamed as long and he can shed blocks easier. So when you got good, quick linebackers, it makes linemen a little more hesitant to stay on double teams longer, which then should benefit the down guys.
So is it fair to say Cooper will make them look better than they are, or is that an overstatement?
I don't know, make them better than they are, but he's going to benefit them, with this style of defense. A penetrating defense with fast linebackers that linemen have to get to, that's tough to get to, should help the guys out up front.
Hard to believe, but we've run out of time. First time ever. Brian Bulaga, the Brian Bulaga Homer Hour. If you got any questions, we'll be back on Thursday. National Radio next.
A very quiet Monday afternoon commute with no major incidents and just the slightest of a delay on 43 northbound between both Walnut and Keefe. Tonight, mostly clear skies, a low of 29. Tuesday, partly sunny, a high of 45. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Jessica Gapso on 94.5 ESPN.